morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. I'm Rob Evans, and welcome to Daybreak Plus. We're recapping all the local news you may have missed overnight, and then we're going deep into the topics that actually matter to you. And we begin with what matters to a lot of us right now here in Central Texas, talking about the measles outbreak continuing to grow in our state. Today, the state health department will release a county-by-county breakdown of new cases. Now, as of yesterday, officials reported 158 measles cases in this outbreak, which is concentrated mostly in West Texas. Now, during a House committee hearing yesterday, lawmakers asked DSHS Commissioner Jennifer Shuford about a child who died from measles in Lubbock last week. Now, she said the department still does not know where this outbreak started. Take a listen.
I cannot link this particular outbreak. I don't know. Usually we can find that link, and so it's driving me crazy, but we don't know what the link is here.
Now, one of the measles was confirmed in Austin last Friday. Local health officials say that patient is an unvaccinated infant who had traveled overseas. Now, the rest of that infant's family is vaccinated. A DSHS spokesperson says that case will not be included in their case count today because it's not tied to the West Texas outbreak. Of course, measles are a big concern for new parents, right? Babies are too young to get a vaccine. So we stopped by a Round Rock Kids facility to see what it is doing to stop the spread. Tot Box Play Cafe went through the COVID pandemic, of course, and they're using the same cleaning protocols. The founder, Suzette Reynoso Bivens, did a 3-step cleaning and disinfecting process. But play areas, they're hard to clean, right? There's only so much you can really do to prevent diseases, and the measles is airborne. It remains active in the air or on surfaces for up to 2 hours. However, she says they will continue their protocols to make sure the safety of their children. Take a listen to what she has to say.
My 3-year-old plays here every single day, and so making sure that, and that's how I treat every one of my customers, every one of our members, is their friends, their family, and it's our job and duty to protect them and to keep them safe.
Now, the World Health Organization says vaccinations community-wide are the best preventative approach to tackling measles. 7:02, we're looking at another weather impact alert day here in Central Texas. Our area under an extreme fire danger, a combination of strong winds and dry conditions. Now, Central Texas counties taking precautions to reduce the risk. Travis, Llano, Mason counties all have burn bans in effect. Outdoor burning is not allowed in Burnett, Gillespie, Hayes, and Williamson counties. Now, we stopped by the Pflugerville Fire Department to see how they're preparing. They told KVUE's Isabella Basco that they've added dozens of brush trucks and fire engines for tomorrow, and they're warning everybody has to be vigilant.
Erica Conti understands the full impact of a tragedy. In 2011, her home in Bastrop County burned down as fires quickly spread across the area.
I lost everything I own. I was a single mom at the time with 3 kids, and we had to pull it together at the time. It was probably the worst moment in my life.
For Bobby Ortiz, the battalion chief of the Pflugerville Fire Department, those fires in Travis and Bastrop counties were a wake-up call for people in Central Texas, a reminder that the potential for a wildfire disaster is real.
They always thought that we can't burn like California can, but we have a lot of the same topography with the hills, the ups and downs. Days like that, where we have sustained winds above 30 miles an hour, gusting of 50, those are kind of the culmination of all of the same types of conditions.
While homeowners can be taught mitigation steps to limit damage to their homes, Ortiz is warning people to be careful outside.
Like burning outside, so having a fire pit or controlled burns where people have brush set out for them to burn and get rid of those fuels from their farmland.
While Conti was able to move into a new mobile home months after the fires, she believes it's important for others to know the implications of disaster.
It's dangerous, can spread fast. You don't realize, it only takes a spark to get a fire going, and it will destroy.
That was Isabella Basco. Now, there is an alert system you can sign up for if you want to know about emergency warnings, and you can find a link on KVUE.com. It's important, of course, to have a bag ready to go in case you need to evacuate. Here's what you need to have right here. Some things: copies of important documents, the first aid kit, extra medications, a change of clothes, water, and add shoes there as well, for sure. That's something a lot of people forget about, unfortunately. It is 7:05 right now. Let's take a look at weather and we can expect, and we're going to see some rain to help with those wildfire conditions. Grace?
Yeah, the unfortunate part of this forecast is, Rob, that we are seeing rains for this morning. However, they are not going to be enough to help us out or mitigate that wildfire risk for today. So looking outside right now, if you were moving through downtown Austin just a few moments ago, there were those heavy rains that moved on through. However, we're already seeing it clear out as we head into the 7 a.m. hour. So let's take a check on those temperatures because we're sitting near 70 degrees earlier this morning. We are now sitting at 54 and 53 degrees. Humidity values starting to drop just a little bit. And our winds coming now out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour sustained, and dew points dropping to 50 right now. Our dew points and our relative humidity are going to continue to drop as our winds continue to increase for today. Now, this is all going to happen as that cold front continues to move off to the east, upwards towards Dallas. Make sure you're checking on your friends and family because they are dealing with severe weather all across their area this morning. They've got a tornado watch in place, and all of these little orange boxes that you see that extend all the way into Oklahoma, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. So they are really going through it this morning, and they still have a little bit of time to go before they see that risk for severe weather really dwindle down. So now just, the Dallas Metro actually cut out of that. As we shift towards the rest of this morning, that wet weather will be moving over towards Shreveport and areas of East Texas. Now, thankfully, also here in Austin, we are not a part of that major severe weather outbreak, but we are seeing some wet weather. So mainly what we're doing is seeing a cold front now kind of backing up where this line is. That is giving way to some heavier rainfall out there, as well as some rumbles of thunder too. I've even seen a couple of lightning strikes there on the radar this morning. And of course, that is going to usher in the very gusty winds behind it. As it's moving through, we're reporting anywhere from 46 up to 52 mile per hour wind gusts as that cold front shifts off to the east. A little bit of a break in wind flow right now out towards the hill country, but that's going to pick up in time as we head towards the latter half of this morning. So right now, 7 a.m., we're starting to see those drier conditions sink into the hill country, and wind speeds will be picking up here in the near future. 7 a.m. temperatures, you can see the drop in temperatures as well out towards the hill country. Mason at 50 degrees, 52 in Llano, in comparison to the 70-degree temperatures we're seeing in Giddings as well as LaGrange. As we head through the rest of this morning, those relative humidity numbers are going to drop significantly, forecasted between 5 and 15%, which is one of those categories for our humidity values that is going to be one of those ingredients for our extreme fire danger today. Another ingredient is going to be high wind flow. You can see by 2:30 this afternoon, anywhere from 30 to even 45 mile per hour wind gusts are predicted on this high resolution model. However, the National Weather Service has forecasted up to 55 miles possible for our area. So something we need to take seriously for today. Again, these wind speeds will be highest between noon and 6 p.m. today. And then as we head towards 8 and 9 p.m. tonight, some of our alerts are going to start to expire as we see improving conditions. Now, our red flag warning, this goes into effect about an hour from now at 8 a.m. as we start to see the humidity levels drop and the wind flow start to pick up. And of course, our rain from earlier today is all going to dry out. Those high winds are going to act like a fan and just dry everything out. So it's not going to be able to mitigate that extreme wildfire risk for today. Another alert that we have in place is our wind advisory, as well as a high wind warning that extends from Mason County all the way into the Texas Panhandle. That is a rare warning. They do not issue that a lot of the time. That is the type of warning that was issued before for the Pacific Palisades fire in LA just a few months ago. So something we need to take seriously. Again, the extreme fire danger all across central Texas for our Tuesday. This has not been issued for a few years now that we've seen such an extreme forecast. So you want to be prepared for today. Have your evacuation route in your mind and make sure that you have a go bag ready for today if you do think that your neighborhood could be succumb to a wildfire, because any sort of spark that happens out there will, take off in a flash. All right, the next 7 days. Today is the day to be weather aware with our weather impact alert in place all day today, improving conditions as we head towards the middle and end of the week. Road conditions a little bit shaky right now as we are dealing with that rain part of the forecast. How's it looking out there, Hannah?
Right, it's going to be a tricky day. So luckily we're not dealing with any of those crazy winds just yet, but definitely kind of creating some slick conditions. And we've got some backups to talk about. So per usual, we're already feeling that near Slaughter Lane, moving through Bluff Springs and coming into that Onion Creek area. And then take a look at North Austin too, kind of a molasses speed really on both sides of the highway coming or going from North Austin today. And we actually have 9 different crashes, so kind of area-wide slowdowns now. It was a really quiet morning, but then those rains moved in and really caused all kinds of problems here. So like I said, backups all the way up from Kyle through Buda into the downtown area, and then a couple new crashes popping up across the map. You can see here in Jollyville, things are kind of clogging up, really coming or going on 183, so might need a little extra time there. We do have that crash at Duval Road, and looks like we have a new one on Lewis Henna as well. So like I said, kind of just all across the map here. Looking a little better though in Wells Branch, but from that live picture I just showed you, it's definitely a slow moving morning. It is moving though, so that's something, I guess. And then of course, both hands on the steering wheel today. It is going to get so very gusty out there. You don't want to lose control, and just be very vigilant because there could be a lot of debris flying around, which is already pretty common in these parts here in Texas. So we also have an active incident 290 westbound at Circle Drive. So heads up if you're coming or going from Dripping Springs today. Everyone stay safe out there. Could get kind of gnarly out there with all those winds, Rob.
Yeah, Hannah thinks about it get even more gnarly because, South by has officially kicked off this week, and city leaders are sharing their plans for the busy spring festival season. They say people should expect street closures, expect heavy traffic. Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis says consider using public transportation or rideshare services to get downtown because it's really hard to find parking. People like Roxanne Romo, who are going to South by, say they are excited, but they're also thinking about safety. Here's what she had to say that she's thinking about. Take a listen.
I think the biggest concern, is mainly just the safety, right? Just increased security. It's a big event. We have tons of people coming all over the world. So safety is always a big concern.
Now, city leaders said they don't think the measles outbreak will be an issue. South by organizers will follow the health policy implemented since COVID. And this morning, Willie Nelson's annual 4th of July picnic tickets will go on pre-sale. This event's happening in Austin at Circuit of the Americas. This year's 4th of July concert will feature Willie Nelson along with Bob Dylan and others. The pre-sale for tickets starts at 10 o'clock this morning. Got about 2.5 more hours to get ready for that. And today marks the beginning of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It'll be all boots, bulls, and barbecue for this 3-week event. It features rodeo athletes, a livestock show, and several vendors with a unique rodeo-themed wares. And you can also expect a lot of country superstars like that one there. Tonight, country legend Reba. She only has one name. Reba McEntire if you want to be official, but she kicks off the first out of concerts. Experts say this rodeo brings in hundreds of millions of dollars in economic impact to Houston. And more partying going on in the Big Easy. Today is Fat Tuesday, a.k.a. Mardi Gras. And our neighbors in Louisiana, they're having to make some last-minute changes because of the weather. Strong winds are there as well, kind of like what we're expecting here. And some Mardi Gras parades in New Orleans are being either altered or straight up canceled. In addition to the winds reaching up to 60 miles an hour, the New Orleans area is also expecting severe thunderstorms. Obviously concern over how those parade floats, those big, huge things, will be able to handle those stormy conditions. Well, over the weekend, a Central Texas company landed on the moon. We told you a little bit about this earlier, right? Firefly Aerospace out of Cedar Park, landing its first spacecraft early Sunday morning. Sounded like this. Take a listen.
Y'all select the landing. We're on the moon.
Party in Cedar Park there. Blue Ghost brought a fleet of NASA instruments to study the moon's environment. Teams watching from the mission's operations center in Cedar Park as the spacecraft went down onto the lunar surface. And we sat down with one of those team members last week as it prepared to touch down. And joining us now to talk even more about this exciting time is Kevin Schulte, the Firefly Future Systems Architect. Kevin, good morning. And you're not on the moon right now. You're not flying around the moon. You're right here in Central Texas, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm here in Cedar Park, just north of Austin.
How exciting is this for you guys to be such a huge part of what's going on? I mean, not just around the country, but universally. Like this, it's incredible to me to even think about it. 250,000 miles away.
It's tremendous. I mean, it's an honor. It's a privilege. It's incredible to be trusted by NASA to take on a mission of this nature. The Firefly team, of course, is just giddy like children, getting to engage with the universe in a completely new way for a whole new generation. It's hard to describe.
Can you kind of boil down in layman terms, because obviously y'all are, rocket scientists, but what it is that you all are going to be doing and what your spacecraft, your lunar lander, will be doing coming up here in the next couple of days?
Sure. So after we touched down really at the beginning of the lunar day, and because the moon takes a month to go around the Earth, a lunar day is about 2 weeks long. So we get 2 weeks of daylight. And that's how long our mission will last on the surface. So we will get, 14 days of operations with payloads, doing experiments on the surface regolith, even looking back at the Earth with an X-ray telescope, looking at the Earth's magnetosphere and how it interacts with the sun. And after those 2 weeks are over, and the sun starts to set on our lander and we start to power down, we'll take a look at sunrise and see some interesting phenomena that we're hoping to capture on cameras with the sun elevating dust on the lunar surface.
So is it solar powered? Is that why it has to be during the lunar day, or how is it powered?
Yep, it's solar powered. So we're an autonomous vehicle. It's solar powered, and we live during the daylight hours. It's hard to take enough batteries with you to survive 2 weeks of total darkness, especially in abyssal cryogenic darkness. It's minus 250 in the shade, so that's a hard thing to survive.
Wow. Yeah. Batteries go bad so quick here when it's like freezing. To imagine what it's like there. So how is this going to help your company in the future? Not just your company, but also, exploration in general.
Yeah, so this is part of the Commercial Lunar Payload Services program from NASA, and this is a forward-leaning effort to bring commercial industry into deeper space exploration and prime the moon in general for a lunar economy. So the hope here and the great experiment that we're embarking on is building up the network of vendors like ourselves who can then go and create a sustainable lunar economy for NASA payloads, for commercial payloads, for sustained permanent presence on the lunar surface.
Once your spacecraft takes off and comes back into the atmosphere, is there any concern with coming through the atmosphere, the heat shield, things like that? How does that work?
So this spacecraft is actually going to stay on the surface of the moon. So once it's there, it's going to be there for the rest of time. We expect it'll survive. I don't know, probably 40,000 years before it completely deteriorates, but it's there forever. Future missions, we might bring samples back, but that's not the plan for this mission.
So you were literally just sending information back and forth.
Yep. We've got a wonderful data link. We're hoping to be able to get back 10 megabits per second. Good enough for HD live stream if we can manage it.
How long will it live after those 2 weeks? I mean, does it die instantly after the sun goes down, or will it still stay up for a while? Do you still think you can still play with it for a while, or what?
Yeah, so we'll play with it for a while. It will survive probably about 5 hours into sunset is the plan. So we'll be using that time to get back as much data as we can. It's a gold mine of scientific data. So every hour that the lander stays alive, we'll be blasting power through our radios to get all the data back to the Earth. And who knows? Maybe we'll be fortunate enough and be able to start up the next lunar day. But right now, the plan is that once the sun goes down and our batteries run out, that'll be the end of the mission.
That was my next question. It is possible that battery could go on in 2 weeks, and I mean it could potentially continue to go on. If you guys have plans for the next lunar days, just in case.
It's possible, but it's not planned for. It's not a capability that we designed into it. Future missions, we will absolutely attempt to survive the night, but it's a huge cost driver to guarantee success on those 2 weeks.
Well, that's exciting. Do you guys have anything coming up that you can talk about as far as future ideas, thoughts, plans, hopes, dreams for the company and the moon or beyond?
Oh yeah, I mean this is just the first of 3 missions that we're on contract with for NASA. So we've got another lunar mission going to the far side next year. So we'll be delivering a mission there along with a relay to communicate that data back. And then we've got a 3rd mission taking a rover to the surface in 2028. So lots of incredible stuff coming up. And then, who knows what the future of commercial space might look like on the moon, but I'm very certain that Firefly is going to be a leader in that.
Talk about. I got a question for you. Could our electronic devices be affecting your relationship with your loved ones? Zoreen Shah explains how putting down your phone could be the key to stronger connections.
Excessive screen time is a growing concern, especially during family gatherings. One recent study found that nearly 40% of people use devices during family time, with 15% scrolling during meals. This habit can create emotional distance and lower overall well-being. To reduce digital distractions, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends having a family conversation about the importance of being present. Establish phone-free times, like during meals or walks, and involve kids in setting rules. Role modeling is also crucial. If parents put down their devices, children are more likely to follow suit. Keep the fun going with activities like games and allow for some shared screen experiences like movie night. With mindful choices, families can create meaningful memories, one device-free moment at a time. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
And that is it for Daybreak Plus. Let us know what you'd like to talk about. Message us at 512-459-9442. You can also message me on any of the socials at Rob Evans TV on Instagram, X, or Facebook. And stick around because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. Goodbye, everybody.